طلعته والليل سجى من وفرته. الله 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 محمد peace be upon his soul. The greatest of prophets, Islam was his only goal.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. I'd like to welcome you, dear viewers, to another in the series, Pearls of the Prophet. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah's peace and blessings be on all of you. And in this segment, we'll be looking at the advice of the Prophet with regards to what is most important in this life. عن أبي هريرة قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الدنيا ملعونة ملعون ما فيها إلا ذكر الله وما والاه وعالما ومتعلما. رواه ابن ماجه. Abu Hurayrah quoted Allah's Messenger as saying, "This world and its contents are cursed, except for the remembrance of Allah. What helps to remember Allah? The scholar and the student." Collected by Ibn Majah. Here we have prophetic advice regarding this world and how we should look at it with regards to what is most important in this world. All of the things in this world, the Prophet Muhammad, may God's peace and blessings be upon him, said are cursed. Cursed meaning not that they're all evil, but they have the potential for evil with regards to ourselves. There are only three things in this world which are purely good. They're good no matter what. They're good for us. The other things are all good, but they have an evil side. They're like two sides of the coin, so to speak. If we utilize the good and avoid the evil side, then it's good for us. But if we play with both sides, then it's evil for us. And if we play with the wrong side too much, then it is greatly evil. It will destroy our lives. All of the things in this world are like that, having that potential to destroy our future. Cursed, potentially evil, except the remembrance of Allah, the remembrance of God, consciousness of God. There is no evil in that whatsoever. Nothing in it is evil. This is the essence of righteousness. It is purely good. So remembrance of Allah, this is something in this world that we should strive to do as much as we can. As Allah said in the Quran, remember Allah a lot. اذكروا الله كثيرا. All of the various forms of worship that have been prescribed for us are set at particular times, with particular forms, numbers, etc. 5 times daily prayer. Fasting the month of Ramadhaan, sunset, sunrise. Giving compulsory charity, zakah, once in a year. Hajj, once in a lifetime. All of the various prescribed forms of worship have all been set within time frames and numbers, and we need it, and they're important. But the essence of what they're all about is the remembrance of Allah. This form of worship, which is the essence of all of the others, has no limitations. This is why when Allah tells us, He says, just remember Allah as much as you can. A lot. No time limitations. The more we remember Allah, the more righteous we become, the better we become. It is the essence of righteousness. Because it is when we remember Allah that we do good. When we forget Allah, that we do evil. That is very, very straightforward. So the more we can remember Allah, the more we can remember God, be aware of God, the better we become. And that's why Allah, when describing the other acts of righteousness, He brought it all down to the same point. He said, أَقِمِ الصَّلَاةِ لِذِكْرِي, establish the prayer for my remembrance. When Allah speaks about fasting, He says it has been prescribed for you as it was prescribed for the people before you. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, in order that you may develop God consciousness. This is the essence. So, dear viewers, this world is cursed, has the potential for evil except the remembrance of God. So therefore, let us try to grab onto that as much as we can. Furthermore, the Prophet went on to explain, what is also not cursed is that which helps us to remember Allah. That which helps us to remember Allah. No curse in this. This is guidance. This is help. This is help to righteousness. Therefore, remembrance of Allah is absolutely good. That which helps us to remember Allah is absolutely good, if it is in accordance with the way brought by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May God's peace and blessing be upon him. It's not anything, because some people can say, well, if I smoke marijuana, it makes me more spiritual. It helps me to remember God. No. This is not just left open, anything that your desires tells you will help you to remember God, it becomes okay. So, smoking, taking dope, drugs, this makes you more spiritual, remembering God. No. It's not anything. Anything which is legitimate, anything which is in accordance with the message of Islam as brought by Prophet Muhammad, may God's peace and blessing be upon him. Anything from that which helps us to remember God is blessed. Furthermore, Allah has informed the Prophet to inform us that among the blessed things, the few blessed things that are purely good, is the scholar and the student. The scholar of Islam, the scholar of Islam, aliman wa muta'allima, and the student who is learning Islam. Of course, the term scholar is very general. It doesn't necessarily mean any scholar, because a person may be a scholar of astronomy, astrology, he may be a scholar of psychology or whatever. And these may be true sciences or they may be false sciences, and this is up and down. Where it is true, it is knowledge from God, but what is primarily being spoken about here is the knowledge which helps one to know God and to worship Him. The knowledge of religion, the knowledge of the religion of God. This knowledge, whether it is taught by a teacher who has learned it, or whether it is sought by a student who seeks to learn it, this is blessed. This is blessed in this world. So one who has that knowledge and teaches it for the sake of God, that person is in a blessed position. That is why Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said that he didn't leave behind inheritors, people who would inherit for him. that in fact the inheritors of the prophets are the scholars. They inherit the mantle of righteousness which leads people to the remembrance and consciousness of God. So for one to strive for this is incumbent, is compulsory for every Muslim. This is why Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "Talabul ilmi farida ala kulli Muslim." Seeking knowledge of the religion is compulsory for every Muslim. Seeking knowledge in general is good, beneficial. It may be beneficial in this life and the next. But fundamentally, knowledge of the religion is beneficial in this life and the next, without a doubt. And this is what is compulsory for us to seek. Because it is this knowledge which will help us to utilize whatever other knowledge that is available in this world for the benefit in both this life and the next. Without that religious knowledge, knowledge of Islam, then we are blind. We are blind and we are following our desires. We do what is pleasing to us, what people say is pleasing to them. You know, whatever will earn us our daily bread, we'll do. We're not guided, we're blind. We can only see in this life if we have religious knowledge with us. And with that religious knowledge, we can turn whatever we have to do in this life into a form of worship. So, dear viewers, Prophet, may God's peace and blessings be upon him, has advised us, when we look at the things of this life, to look at them with the correct perspective. The perspective of one who seeks paradise. That perspective makes us realize that the most blessed thing in this life is the remembrance of God. Whatever helps us to remember God, which is legitimate, we strive to accumulate. We seek the knowledge of God, of the religion of God, and we strive to pass it on to others. This is the correct approach to this life. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. I would like to welcome you, dear viewers, to another in the series, Pearls of the Prophet. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We'll be looking at the prophetic advice with regards to purification of sin and the righteous deeds of Islam. عن أبي هريرة أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: الصلوات الخمس والجمعة إلى الجمعة ورمضان إلى رمضان مكفرات ما بينهن إذا اجتنبت الكبائر. رواه Muslim. Abu Hurayrah narrated that the Prophet said, the 5 daily prayers from one Friday prayer to the next, from Ramadan to the following Ramadan, atone for sins committed between them, as long as major sins are avoided. Here we have a methodology for purification of sin with regards to 2 of the pillars of Islam, prayer and fasting. As Allah said in the Quran, إِنَّ الْحَسَنَاتِ يُذْهِبْنَ السَّيِّئَاتِ. Righteous deeds erase evil deeds. We have within our own grasp a means of atoning for our sins, purifying ourselves of sin, of evil, by doing righteous deeds. Of course, the greatest of righteous deeds is the 5 daily prayers, establishing those daily prayers. Purifies us of sin which occurs between the prayers. From one prayer to the next, purifies us of the things which occur between the prayers, as long as we avoid the major sins. So these are the minor sins that are being purified, not the major sins, but the minor sins. Errors in our judgment, in our words, etc. If we establish that regular prayer. This is why Allah in the Quran did not command us merely to pray, but He said, establish the prayer. Aqimis salah. Establish the prayer. So when the prayer is established meaning that it is done regularly in its times, not praying all 5 daily prayers at the end of the day, missing 1 prayer, 2 prayers, 3 prayers every day. This is not established prayer. This is praying when you feel like it. Praying established prayer as commanded by God, the prescribed prayer, is at its prescribed times. As Allah said in the Quran, إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ كَانَتْ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ كِتَابًا مَوْقُوتًا, that the prayer is prescribed for the believers in particular times. This is the established prayer. However, that establishment is not just within a time frame, but it must be in the correct form. As Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli. Pray as you saw me pray. So the way of prayer must be in accordance with the way of the Prophet Muhammad. May God's peace and blessings be upon him. So the established prayer is one which is done in the established times and with the established format. And furthermore, as Prophet Muhammad ﷺ informed us, that some people pray and only 1/10 of their prayer goes up to God. It's recorded as good for them. Others pray and only 1/20. So the prayer, though one may do it in its time and in the correct form, the reward for it may vary according to one's consciousness. If one is not conscious of God, then we are only going through the motions, and those motions will not benefit us. So the established prayer is one done in the correct times, established at the 5 times in the day and the night. One which is done in the correct format, according to the way of the Prophet. May God's peace and blessing be upon him. That is, it's not done hastily, quickly moving from one position to the other, as if one is in a race, but pausing between each of the movements, from bowing to standing to sitting to prostrating. All of these things are done very deliberately, very smoothly, and very with calmness and pausing between the movements. Unfortunately, some people, they have not grasped this at all. You find the prayer call made and people are running to the masjid. And Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said that you should go to the prayer with humility and calmness. Whatever you catch, you pray, and whatever you miss, you make up. Don't rush. وَلَا تُسْرِعُوا. Don't rush, don't run. But unfortunately, people caught up in the outer aspects have missed this. So the point is that the prayer should be in the correct time, with the correct form, and with the correct spirit, a spirit of consciousness of God. Similarly, from one Friday prayer to the next Friday prayer purifies one of the sins in between. This is the grace of God. Additional benefits of doing righteousness, God multiplies the benefit of that righteousness. And furthermore, from Ramadan, 1 year to the next, because Ramadan is once a year. From one Ramadan, fasting of one Ramadan to the next fasting Ramadan, purifies us of the minor sins in between. But again, Friday prayer must be done in its correct time, with the correct format, and with the correct spirit. Similarly, fasting has to be done in Ramadan in the correct times, with the correct form, and with the correct spirit. Those people who stay awake all night, eating all night, they eat a 3-course meal before going into pray Fajr, the morning prayer. After the morning prayer, they go to sleep. They sleep maybe most of the day, waking up only in time to break the fast at sunset. They have only turned the day into the night. This is not fasting. In terms of the law, yes, they didn't eat between sunrise, between dawn and sunset. There was no eating. However, the spirit of the fast is destroyed. And such a fast is not accepted. It will not purify us. So, dear viewers, important point here, that we should not fall into the trap of ritual, thinking that merely praying daily, praying Friday prayers, fasting Ramadan, will cover for all of the evil that we do. So, dear viewers, we have a blessing from God here for purifying our own sins by doing the prescribed acts of worship, prayer and fasting, in their proper form, in their proper times, with the proper spirit. We have a means of purifying ourselves of sin. We don't need intermediaries to confess to, who will absolve us of our sin. We can remove that sin ourselves by worshiping God as He has commanded us. So, dear viewers, let us take advantage of this. Establish those prayers at the times that they were prescribed. Learn the prayer, do it properly. Follow the way of the Prophet Muhammad, may God's peace and blessings be upon him, both outwardly and inwardly. And fast. Establish the fast of Ramadan. Gone already, coming again. Every year we have that opportunity to purify ourselves further. But we must do it with the proper outer format as well as with the proper spiritual direction, spiritual motivation, spiritual structure. This is the only way for us to purify ourselves and to take benefit from this which God has provided for us. And with that, dear viewers, I bid you farewell, hoping to see you in another in the series Pearls of the Prophet. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
الصبح بدا من طلعته والليل دجى من وفرته الله 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 Muhammad, peace be upon his soul. The greatest of prophets, Islam was his only goal.